Welcome to Stampscapes Live. We're going to finish off this pre-stamped, meaning I just stamped it, composition on these two photo prints. They're the same photo print, but this one has just been flipped around. You can see it underneath this one right here. And so I just kind of flip-flopped them like that so that I'd have the light on the horizon down here so that our imagery would show through. But this kind of diagonal type of mirroring right here, I don't mind some of it, but we need to get rid of a little bit of it. And then I need to model all of my imagery down here just so it isn't so kind of transparent floating on the top of a photograph type of look. Okay, so Seaside Cove, some of the rock clusters from one of the recent desert sets, baby sea turtles, and the tiny rock small in here. And then it's right up here is the Palm Island. All right, so I did that on a separate video, pre-recorded video that I just uploaded. Because I needed to go outside and spray seal this, and I wanted to give it a good, amount of coat. So I've spray sealed it with about 4 layers of the Krylon Workable Fixatif. So this is what it kind of looks like now. It's a little bit, okay, so these are glossy photo prints. This is a completely different photo here, but hopefully you can see kind of a little bit of a different kind of textural surface quality to it. This one's a little bit more satin now because the Workable Fixatif is a matte. Okay, so much more glossy here. But I really wanted to lock down my inks here potentially so that I can color them. The StazOn ink impressions with my alcohol inks, and I didn't want these alcohol inks to be lifting and smearing the StazOn ink. So what I want to do is I want to go in here and model a lot of these different forms in here, and that's going to give all of these different images some kind of visual weight and opacity. Right now you can see right through it into these cloud textures in the background. I want some of it though, because I really love that kind of reflective look that looks like it's reflecting the sky, but it's just too see-through right now. That's where we're going to render these, okay? And that's where I needed to really lock down all of my existing media in the form of the StazOn ink. Okay, so going in here, and I'm darkening the shadow areas, so like underneath the waves. And I'm going to be blending in some colors here too, so it's not going to look this blue, okay? This is just the first one that I happen to be using. We're going to be doing some, standard alcohol ink blending and shading in here, okay? So I'm going to keep this fairly monochromatic. I'm not going to do the sand in here too different of a color because it's supposed to be this kind of wet area where the the sea turtles are kind of walking through this, the wet shoreline here going out to sea like this. Hello, Froggy Fresh. Yeah. What are you eating tonight? Anything special? There's a special tonight, a Stampscapes video and all-you-can-eat buffet right now. All right, so we have something like that. So this is just the first color. I'm kind of adding this into, those shadow areas around. And I want to see if I can really blend that out, which I'm hoping I can. Sometimes when I think I can do something, I can't. And other times when I think I can't do something, I don't know, we can in some way. So I try not to think, okay, this is the way this is going to work. I can have confidence, but I'm not definitive with anything. That's, I think that's the right way to describe it. Okay, so these are kind of the tones that I plan to use right here. And again, they're all alcohol inks. So this one, there's a bit of a intensity to it. It's still kind of a medium blue, but it's not too bright. But see these ones right here, especially this one right here, it's really the color of the the background in here. So I think that one's going to be the one that kind of, oh, it'll kind of harmonize, blend and harmonize with the colors in the background. Snacking on a turkey I made yesterday. That sounds pretty good. All right, this is a lighter blue right here. Now that blue underneath is not, you know, this pen I think is a little bit dry here, so it's not kind of blending it out as much as I thought it would. I kind of have to put it back into solution a little bit, maybe. But again, I think this is a really dry pen here. Let's go into that kind of violet one here, Salvia blue. Okay, yeah, this is a much more juicy pen. So that other one was just kind of dry. This is really blending it very nicely. And again, that salvia is really similar to the color of the photo. It's in that same hue. It might be a little bit of a different value, but it's really similar. So this is exactly the thing that is needed. It has a little bit more of a reddish tinge. If you don't have a color like this and you have a little bit of blue, if you have some sort of like a pastel pink or something like that, you can blend it with your blue and you'll probably get some sort of color in between those colors that would be a little bit more of this reddish blue type of hue. All right, going to something like that. It's giving it a little bit more volume right there. Alcoholings, yeah, alcoholings right here. Use any brand, of course. So any new, any train news going on, Froggy Fresh? You're working on anything on your layout or set? All right, so that right there. Kind of have some different volumes in here. I still have a little bit of that right there. Let's kind of merge that a little bit with the perimeter. So I'm going with these kind of streaky kind of lines in there, like so. And I'm going to give these little turtles a little bit of a shadow right around their base, okay? This doesn't show up too much because it's roughly the same value as that color underneath, but it gives it a little bit of a shadow like that. These baby sea turtles running for their lives. I know it's nature, but I really hate watching those documentaries of those baby sea turtles running for their lives and everything swooping down and eating them up, you know, crabs and seagulls, snakes. All right, there we go. On shacks today to place near the coal mine. That's cool. There's so much on a suspension bridge. Wow. ABC turtles. What's that? All right. Let's get a little bit of yeah, what's ABC turtles? Let's get a little tone right in that, right in there. Yeah, a little bit of a tone right in there. Let's take a look and see what this is looking like. All right, that it's a little bit harsh in the coloring, but that's where that our paint pens and yeah, the white pigment ink will come into play. All right, so I'm looking at that. I wanna blend out it. When I look at it like that, it's like, okay, I need to blend a little bit more. Let me try this kind of lighter version of the salvia. So the salvia is a little bit darker, like, well, that's quite a bit darker, isn't it? Let's see, this is a periwinkle, you know, so pretty similar. It's not really going to apply. In fact, it's like removing. It's acting like a blender pen here, and just kind of like removing that ink as I lay that down. But I can blend things out. I can go back into those darker areas and just kind of blend out a little bit. I'm probably dragging around some of that tone, but I like being able to control the amount of ink that's on something and being able to remove it too, or just spread it around. It's more like removing here as I go in here. So I can remove kind of like in a couple like selective areas, targeted areas, I should say. All right, there we go, like that. Let's see. Oh, baby sea turtles. Yeah, not ABC turtles, baby sea turtles. I thought ABC turtles, is that something like a, you know, like, I thought it was like an acronym for like a, you know, uh, um, the Ninja Turtles. Hello, Megan, how are you? Almost done here. Not really, but, well, I don't know. That's most of the toning that I think we need right there. Now, let's go into the highlighting here. And let's do it with, do we just go in right with the white? I think so. I think we can just go in with the white here. Okay, got it. Yeah. Let's see. I'm going to be highlighting kind of the top areas of the cresting wave. I don't know if you call this wave. It's more like foam. When a wave is kind of cresting, and if there's like an offshore breeze especially, you see that little mist coming off of the top of the wave. It's called spindrift. My brother had a surfboard by a surfboard shop called Spindrift Surfboards, and he asked, what's spindrift? That's when I heard that. It's like, oh, that's a cool term. Okay, so just kind of adding in that little highlighting in there. It really makes the lighting a lot more crisp and sparkly by adding that reflective quality in there. So this in here really gets pretty muted looking, but this is going back in and adding in that contrast into the scene. It's a lighting contrast in that something's a lot lighter against that darker background. Even the white's lighter than that light down there. That's a little bit more of a warm light. So this is the sparkly kind of texture that you add in there. I'm adding a little bit too much if I weren't going to add in some white pigment ink later. Okay, it gets a little bit loud, okay, right in here. Because it stands out quite a bit, okay, from a contrast standpoint. but also from a textural standpoint, it's very crisp. All right, now if this is kind of like this shimmering shoreline and water down here and not like a, a window into another world or something like that, we can put some of this sparkly texture, and I'll do it mostly in this, it's not real illuminated, but a lighter area, okay, and that's supposed to represent, that little whatever sparkly glistening sand, I guess, that you might see in this type of situation right here. There's some crashing waves right around here, and I have some kind of splashing kind of water that's in the design itself, but I'm just going in here and adding some more of it so that you have a little bit more of a brighter, lighter, crisper version of that type of little detail. Okay, let's see. Oh, I'll have to check that out there, Froggy Fresh. Alpuglis. Okay, I can't pronounce that at all. Is the YouTube channel under his name or their name? Crispy sand, yeah. Crispy, bright sand at that. Which is what ABC turtles like. Otherwise known as elementary, turtles, right? All right, I think that's some decent shit. I don't think I want to go down here too much with that texture because it is pretty dark down here, so I think that will do it. Let's take a look here and see. I should probably bring some of it up into the sky, but I'm not sure. Boy, that is a really loud textural statement right in here. So let's go in and let's tame that now. So we get the benefit of the sparkle, but we want the kind of the balance of softness in here, okay? And the softness is also something that's already inherently in these clouds up here. We have these misty kind of illuminated formations up there defined by moisture, suspended moisture. So that's what we're kind of going for here. Hello, Sharita. How are you? Oh, it's on your Facebook page. Okay, cool. We'll check it out. All right. So, I re-inked this a little bit before I came on, so it's going to be a little bit juicier than in recent videos, probably. So I need to adjust my rate of application. I don't re-ink this like to where it's like super, super damp though. I kind of re-ink to medium on this. This is my cotton ball pad right here for C for cotton. Okay. And it's 100% cotton, so it shouldn't, be overly juicy. I don't know. I haven't re-inked it in a while. All right, so where would you add this white pigment ink, Sharita? It's like a schoolroom. All right, so anyway, there's lighter areas right here on the horizon. So that's where I tend to start in my lighter areas, and then you kind of go into objects or areas that are slightly darker than it, okay? So that it shows, okay? So you get this white pigment ink right in here, and you add it right in here, and then it, in this case, it makes it look like that area now is being kind of enveloped in that lighting right there. See that on that side of that tree? This is in a lighter area right in here. It's not white like light down here, but I can still get some of this in here like this. And now that tree is kind of catching some of that light. You know, I won't do too much, but we'll go something like that. Okay. And then let's take a look at it, some of it right in here. It'll give it that kind of nice kind of haze. I got a little bit too much right there, maybe. All right, and let's go. Here. They sell re-inkers. Yeah, they do. There's re-inkers. I think there's pretty much re-inkers for everything on the market these days. Yeah, you don't want to toss your pad out. Re-inkers for like all Sukaneko. All Ranger does too. But yeah, there's the Brilliance re-inker like that. If you can see it in focus there like that. But I go through it a lot. The only company that didn't have re-inkers for a while was Marvy on their dye-based pads. It drove me nuts. And then they finally came out with them. But I used to use them for workshops, so you know, we used to go through a lot of pads, and I tossed out so many pads for, I don't know, it was a couple years probably before they came out with some re-inkers. And I don't know if they were going to, but everyone else had re-inkers, so I think they felt that they had to. But what a waste. All right, so there's some of that mist. See that? You oscillate it, so there's that lighting right on our objects right in there. And then I have it crisp, and then I have a little bit over here, just to kind of mix things up. I can put those trees right there. And a little bit more of that mist, but I don't know, doesn't it really change the kind of the spirit of that? When you change the spirit of your light, you really change the spirit. You alter or make more complex the spirit of the piece, you know, because that lighting on objects, it really changes the mood of something like that. See that haze right throughout there? So now suddenly, this one stamp that was just stamped in one black ink, okay, now it has just so much more character to it, and the lighting is weaving its way through those objects. So you make something kind of flat, and you put this kind of like physical, it's almost like an entity around it, or a living entity, you know, like light, like that. It's not living, but it, you know what I mean? It's really, it changes it like that. So it doesn't look so flat anymore. I mean, I think it looked okay before, but now it really looks a lot better. So you've brought that background in front of it, okay? So that same type of light like that is now in front of it. And again, so when you're enveloping things like that and changing the values of it, it really looks a lot more three-dimensional that way. And it's just such an easy, really easy thing to do. And it takes a lot of planning out, because we can do this type of thing in our impression itself. Like if we ink it up and then we blot off some of that ink before we make our impression, then those areas in there that we blotted off some ink should stamp out a little bit lighter. But sometimes I just find that it's just easier to do it kind of after the fact, you know, and to take a look at it and make our assessment than to kind of plan everything ahead, you know, so far ahead like that. Okay, let's see here. Hello, Bonnie, how are you? All right, let's add some of this. Let's go down here. So this is the lighter area on this ocean, seaside cove right here. So I'm gonna add some of this right in here. And again, you really can't see, you know, what it does right in here, because it's a very light area, so it's light on light, but you kind of add that into that area that's close to it like that. And then we'll add it right around in these areas as well. So there's a little bit of light down in here. I'm going to have to put it into some darker areas, you know, just because that was the tone of the photo that I stamped on top of it was just kind of darker throughout here. So, but I do want some of this in there, so I'm just going to have to add it in there. So let's see, let's add it like right around in here. I'm going to do a little bit of masking, but just some light masking. So I kind of add it down like that, and then I just kind of lightly kind of spread it around. Or what you do is, here's the motion, you kind of tap it for a while like this, okay? And then you kind of spread it out a little bit like that. You don't do this like tap, 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 okay? It's just kind of more tapping, and then you move it a little bit, okay? So it kind of, it emanates from a certain area then, okay? So it's like tapping, and then kind of moving out like that. So see, I get that kind of that glowing light right there. So see, you can do a comparison contrast. That's what it looks like with a little pigment ink right in here. And right there, that's what it looks like without, okay? A little bit of a different spirit to that area right there. And what I was mentioning earlier to people, as I was adding these little dots in here, it's a little bit harsh, you know, it's like crawling with, you know, these little dots of light. But when you add this white pigment ink in there, those dots against that background, there's not as much contrast. So it's, you know, it mellows that out a little bit, which I want. You know, I don't want it, you know, just like this, you know, the whole scene just crawling with like ants made of light. You heard right, Froggy Fresh. Ants made of light there. She's going to say, what the heck? I was saying baby sea turtles, but she thought I was saying ABC turtles. Now I mumble, so, you know, I don't fault anyone for hearing all kinds of, you know, different things that I'm saying. All right, here we go, like this. If you ever add in too much or it doesn't look good, you just wipe it right off, okay? You kind of turn, you know, I go with the, you know, the clean side. So this is the side that I'm applying like this. And you just take the clean side and just like in eraser, you just wipe it right off, okay? Because, it, you know, it stays moist for a little bit of time. You know, it gives you plenty of time to edit, you know, what you've laid down. So someone asked me if I was using Stays On white to add in this kind of mist. And I said, hey, you know, you can't really do that with the Stays On, because if I tap this up in a Stays On white pad and I go like this, it's probably dry before I even tap down like that. But if I were able to transfer some of that Stays On white, which I do have a pad of, and if I tap it down, that thing's going to be like, you know, we're going to not, you know, it won't be, we can't edit it, okay, or move it around at all. It's just going to be dry. You know, it's not really, you know, it's not meant for that. I mean, you can say this isn't meant for this either, but, you know, the Stays On white, you know, you're supposed to stamp something out in it, and it's supposed to like dry, you know, pretty instantly, and be able to, you know, stamp it on anything that we want. Okay, so see this, I'm kind of adding, I added it right here on the back of that one. I'll add it right in here too. So this right here, see this, I have a little bit of that wave showing right there, okay? So I'm just gonna go in and add in this kind of mist. It kind of gives it the pieces a little bit of a, like a dreamier kind of feel to it, right? When you have that. So you can get that large movie production quality, you know, where they're using all kinds of fog machines in the background to give some place atmosphere. You know, that would cost, you know, thousands and thousands of dollars for that look for the price of like one cotton ball. And one cotton ball and one pad, of white pigment ink that you can use for, whatever, 1,000 scenes. All right. So it looks a little bit more, I don't know, kind of painterly too, I think. All right, let's see in here. We'll take a look and let's see if this is looking pretty good or if we need to make some tweaks here and there. Okay. I think that looks pretty decent there. If you just joined in, I had a little bit of pigment ink right here and here, in that top area, which really makes it look like that light is hitting that, that distant island or, point right there, cove opening like that. All right, so I'm still a little bit busy right throughout here, so let's keep going here. I'm kind of going for this rougher kind of edge on this paper towel, but then as I move up like this, the lines get a little straighter, so I'm using just the straight part of this paper towel. Or if we market this paper towel, we'll call it a mist mask. Say that 3 times. I'm joking. We're not going to. If someone's like watching this video for the first time, they're thinking, "What the heck are you talking about?" He said, he's gonna package up, these paper towels and sell them as a mist mask. This is a mist mask right here, on sale at 50% off, and it comes in a 10-pack. And these are called blending clouds right here. All right. So there we go like that. All right, I think that is all I'll do. Okay, now this dries darker than what it looks like when it's been freshly applied. So I'm starting to lose some of it right around in here already because it's dried and it's becoming a little bit more transparent. So you just kind of add in another layer, okay? And that's going to dry and it's going to be lighter, okay? But then you'll get it roughly around how you will want it, eventually. So when you're applying this, kind of apply a little bit more than what probably looks ideal to your eye. Right. It's kind of good in a way sometimes, though, because if it dries a little more transparent, the background kind of incorporates in to the scene a little bit more. But that being said, sometimes you get what you want. It's like, okay, I wish it would just kind of stay like that, but it might require another layer of pigment ink. And the more you kind of build up, the more, towards opacity you go. I don't want it to be opaque, but I want it to kind of move in that direction just in general. Okay, so yeah. See that right there? So let's see how much more illuminated it is, but let's see if it kind of dries out and starts to disappear a little bit more where we need another coat in there. Let's see here. I haven't thought of Barney in like a long time. I don't know, probably since my kid was little. I don't think we never watched him either. But I did see some episodes, for the first time, right around when he was that age. Everything I learned about kind of teaching I learned from Barney. We have Barney to thank. Let me see. In my day, it was shows were like Captain Kangaroo, and there was this show called oh well, Mr. Rogers, of course, but Wonderama. Well, that wasn't really a, I don't know, that wasn't really a teaching. That was more like a kids game show type of thing. Sesame Street, of course. Okay, so adding some of this down around in this area now, so we're bringing in this kind of sensibility down here. I think we got a decent degree of like drama in this piece, and it's just kind of nice that that's the part when you're working on these photographs that you really don't have to provide because it's already inherently in the photo. You're just kind of working with a photo and kind of making it kind of usable. Not that we're going for realism or something like that, but it blends a little bit more. It makes sense in the context of the imagery shown. Okay, so before I was doing all this toning on this live stream here, the piece looked a little bit. It looked like just stamped imagery stamped over a photograph because we can see really those textures of the clouds up here. I used the other, an identical photo up top, so it was a little bit too kind of mirrored, okay? So this is kind of, I'm altering this lower section here to make it a little bit different from the top where it's more reminiscent of, in this case, it's like, the water coming in and this area becoming a little bit more reflective with that moisture, as these waves come in and out. It's like foils too, Foils are so kind of loud and everything like that, which I love, but I kind of have to knock them back and incorporate the imagery in there a little bit more. Okay, let's see. Stays under eyes. Yeah, stays under eyes really fast. Hello, Caroline. How are you? Darlene, good to see you. I got your order. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Darlene, for the support of the line. CM Hawkins, how are you? Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it, huh, Darlene? So yeah, when I was using cotton balls a lot, it was like that was right around the time when some other products out there were, like common everyday stuff, and I thought, yeah, it's the same type of thing, and I know they're not like making them up, an entirely different product. It's repurposed stuff that, if it's something different, that's a whole different thing. But if it's an exact same thing, but marked up, 500%, I don't know, that doesn't sit with me very well. It's taking advantage of people. Okay, so see that right there? That's starting to look pretty good right in there in terms of like doesn't that look? It looks almost like an oil painting to me. So this is the seaside cove right here and a few little rocks. I guess it looks like, I don't know, it looks like an oil painting to me because of this photograph underneath it. So, which I hadn't really thought about using with, a whole shoreline like that, especially before. So this one was the first one right here. And I thought, that looks really good, to have those clouds right in here. So I'm going with a more textured one here. So if you've just joined in, okay, so this photo right here, I just stamped the Palm Island right here, but this photo right here is the same photo that all these images are stamped on. But see, this is just like that. Do you see that photo right there? Right in there, like that. So, so the problem areas for me, just in stamping the Seaside Cove over this area, it was this area right here was a little bit too noticeable right in here. So you just I just applied, you know, some of that pigment ink right in there. So, and then I put some, you know, streaks of tone across the Seaside Cove Small in here. And then this area right in here, I mean, it looks okay right in here. It's a little bit, you know, reflective or, you know, too cloudy. So again, that kind of sparkly little element in here. And I do want to add in some more of this white in here, I think, just to kind of make less distinct some of those clouds. Or I just want to blend them out a little bit more, okay? So let's do this. Let's add in a little bit of mist right back in here. What's cool about this too, using this photo that I happen to be using, I mean, there's a lot of different choices, you know, with photographs in there, but it seems like, you know, it can really handle, I don't know. It seems like it can handle just about as much of this white pigment ink as I'm throwing at it right here. Sometimes I start using it, it's like, okay, you know, that's enough for a scene that I'm maybe stamping on top of, you know, white cardstock, and I've done my coloring, but on top of this photo, maybe there's more textures in it just inherently than I would ever kind of achieve through stamping. So I don't know. So maybe it just allows for more of this usage. I don't know. Just kind of thinking out loud here. So see, like down here, okay, a lot of times I wouldn't add in kind of this little cloudy texture like that, you know, in that dark area, but I mean, it looks, you know, pretty decent, I think. Or let's try it right in here. And if you add too much, like I said, you can just wipe it right off and it'll come off. Well, let's try some right here, like this, in this kind of darker area. It's not a real dark area, but I'm putting it over some of that rock right there, like that. Okay, let's blend that out a little bit. Like that. Yeah, looks okay. Now that's going to dry and get a little bit darker, which I want it to. That's a little bit too light right there. But I like adding this type of thing, so so the freedom to kind of add a little bit more than normal or a lot more than normal is really fun for me. All right, so that is that. Let's see here. Yeah, it looks real kind of you know, like a painting type of effect, I think, with that amount of ink in there or something, like an oil painting. Which I haven't done since, you know, school. The real hassle to try to oil paint it at home, you know, with all that turpentine and stuff. You don't have any place to put your oily rags or anything like that. I think you're supposed to throw that type of thing in the trash, or like stuff you're cleaning out your brushes in. Okay, I'm trying to get this in here, you know, without adhering it down, because I do want to spray seal these again. And I don't want to tape these down quite yet, but that's the way that looks right there. I don't know, that's one of the most realistic. Some people say, oh, my God, that looks like a photo. Well, we're photo stamping here, but I think this is like the closest thing to a photo I think I've done here yet. It was that little bit of pigment ink right in here on the corners of that, you know, and that card right there. But all of this, like down here with that white pigment ink like that, that really helped it out. So I'm a little out of focus. There we go. A little bit better, like that. Romper Room. Yeah, I watched that too. That's right. Was Romper Room, did they have like a circular kind of area or something like? I definitely watched Romper Room. I got to check that out on YouTube. I'm sure there's some Romper Room posts out there, but let's see here. Did I say hello to Military Mom? Hello, Military Mom. If I didn't, I have a St. Bernard Chihuahua and 3 cats sitting on me. It's like wearing a parka. Yeah. You need a new type of channel, Froggy Fresh, and it's like stamping with four-legged stamping or something like that. You're gonna be stamping with your four-legged family members there. Kids game show was Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego? Yeah, that was after my time. I think I've heard of it though. Yeah, Captain Kangaroo. Yeah, that was every day there, right there. Captain Kangaroo, Wonderama, Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers sure spanned generations, huh? There was those two movies. There was a documentary and the Tom Hanks one, just a few years ago. Let's see. Yeah, the Banana Splits. Oh, that's going back too. Yeah, the Banana Splits. That show. That whole the Banana Splits, weren't the Banana Splits that same type of production as like the Boogaloos? Let's see. Yeah. So Military Mom. So I felt that I was thinking about. I wanted to do this one, and then I thought, let's get a different one, kind of a more open scene for down below. But I thought that little texturing up there. I mean, it's directly across like that, so it's not a mirrored version. I thought kind of just flipping it around is going to give it the best kind of, I don't know, maybe continuity. But for me, it was that thing right there, that darker area that appeared right there. That was a little bit intrusive in terms of the water here. I thought it might be too dark, right around in this area. And you can see it's still a little bit dark, but we've added a little bit of that white pigment ink. And then what I did was I added those dots of white right across the top of it in this section right down there. So I thought that worked pretty good. I didn't know, I didn't know if it was dark, if it would, putting the white in that area, if it would be too obtrusive looking of a white foggy area out in the middle of, that water area like that. But again, I'm feeling that that this misting here on these photos like this, this is the first time. I'd probably do a little bit more on this one right here, but doing it on this one right here and around all of these objects like that, it really opened my eyes to, I don't know. I don't know, I've been doing this on these photographs for a long time, and I've been adding that white pigment ink in there, but I think, I don't know, I think I've been using mostly the cloud imagery as the photo stamping as clouds in the background for my skies. But, I mean, you have to think about it a little bit, in terms of your land area. You know what I mean? Like, if I tried to stamp over the top of, like this, you know what I mean? With imagery on here, like land imagery, like this is a meadow in here. That I don't think that's going to work. So, but kind of these lighter, less, and it doesn't have to be land. It could be like a reflective body of water or something like that. But these less contrasty ones are probably better for that, like something like this. But I don't know. it's opening my eyes to new usages. Like something like this would be okay as land down here. You could put a bunch of stuff over the top of it. But then when you'd have to kind of, you know, put more blending and a little bit of texturing in there. But I mean, it doesn't take too long to do. I mean, I don't know what time we are at here. So, you know, I've been blabbing away here. We're at the 50-minute mark right here. And I had already stamped out all these things in here. But the stamping portion of it, and then I went to spray seal these images. It didn't take too long to do. So, I don't know. It makes for a pretty quick and dramatic type of setting like this with the photographs like that. My camera's having a hard time kind of focusing on this. This right here, even though this is just like a few inches away at this area right here, just like in a photograph, it's a little bit kind of blurred out like that. Oh, here we go. That's a little bit better right there. All right, so another way to do it, you take your photographs. It's an idea. Now, if you're working with kind of more solid silhouette images like these, I mean, you can, you don't have to model all that in color, but, like doing I don't know if this might be a little bit too extreme like that, but, if you're doing a horizon card, you can do something like this if you want to, or, I don't know, I guess you can do it this way too, like that. Just take, identical photographs, or if you have your home inkjet printer and you can print out some whole sky, like say this is like a bigger piece, and I guess you can do it like that and just put a fold. I hadn't really thought about just folding stuff before, so someone asked me, they said, now are you taking like two pieces and kind of putting them together, or are you taking one whole piece and just putting a fold in it? Which I hadn't really even considered before. But I guess if you get your stamping kind of right on, the edges or something like that are on that fold, I guess you could fold, in theory, a larger piece. And you don't have to do it on photo paper, too. You can, if you have an inkjet printer, you can just, so this is a 4x6, so you can print out like an 8x6, for example, photo of just all clouds, and you can just, plan on folding it, getting that fold in there. I would still mount it on some kind of card base probably, but you can do things that way too. So, yeah, okay, let's see. Do you have chicken? No, I don't have any chicken stamps. You need a chicken stamp, Froggy Fresh? What kind of chickens? Just all kinds? Thanks, Bonnie, for the thumbs up. Dressed up figures like Barney. I think we have a channel called Crafting with Cursing. Oh, that's funny. So when they ask you, I think when you post your videos, it has that, do they have like cursing in there as one of the parameters for posting, to make it like kid friendly? So you'd have to like select that one that says, maybe not for kids or something like that. I think that people would probably get the idea if that's what was the title of the show, though. You mean curse words? I take it you mean, not like us as viewers. If we were watching your channel, you're putting a curse on us, right? Chicken stamp. Oh. What I always say, if I don't have like some kind of stamp or something like that, Viva Las Vegas stamps probably has a few chicken stamps, and they're probably the 19th early 20th century engravings or something like that. But would be all kind of excellent, illustrations. All right, folks. So I don't know about you, but I really like the look of these, whatever, photo stamp pieces like that. I mean, you could just, photo stamping could also be like a 5-minute card. You can stamp on just like a card like this, and you put a quote stamp up here or something like that. you know, that white in there is a nice little touch, you know what I mean? It doesn't really add on too much time, but that would be fun to kind of add in there. But you can just, you know, mount this up. You don't have to be doing kind of reflection or horizon cards, but I don't know, they're, you know, they're pretty easy to do. And for something like this too, like say if you wanted to do, you know, a kind of a more reflection card kind of idea for this, you know, this is the area down here that took, you know, the most amount of time, but now this isn't 4 by 6, but this is, you know, this is 4.5 by, you know what I mean? But just to give you an idea of what this would look like here, just by putting then this piece of silver foil, you can put some foreground in here or not, but look how dramatic that looks right there. It really changes the spirit of it, huh? In fact, that's more kind of, it's more like, this is like serenity right here, you know, that just that background like that. And look how dramatic it is with this, you know, just piece of silver foil down like that. If you do kind of a sunset or something like that, and it's warm tones, then maybe a piece of gold foil here instead. But like this literally would be like, I don't know. I don't even know if it'd be 10 minutes. You know, it's 2 impressions with that one stamp on here, and you're just formatting this into a card base like that. So, yeah, just I don't know, a whole twist on it. We might have to do that card, that 5-minute card in there. I don't know. That looks pretty cool. Or I can do this one. I have that woman on the dock now, but we can put her like sitting on a dock right here, looking out at that. I mean, that'd be pretty cool. So, anyway, options here. But familiarizing myself with the new photo prints here. Thanks for checking out the live. Hope you like the looks of this. Free cloud images for download and printing in the Facebook group and my Flickr site album. Curse words, sometimes that happens. I'll tell you, I was thinking about cursing, you know. I don't know, not really, but when I stamped out my water-based inks on this new photo paper the other day, you know, I didn't want to curse, but I was like, what in the, you know, maybe curse word in there, like, is happening here? You know, my whole photo stamping world turned upside down there for a couple minutes trying to figure that out in there. So, yeah. I want this on a journal cover. That would be a cool journal cover. You got to do a journal. You know, it'd be an awesome thing is if you do, someone did like a whole journal and every other page was just a piece of like silver or gold cards. And then you write, or draw things in that journal that are reflecting into that other area. That'd be kind of interesting, like that. Yeah, didn't it, Charita? Wasn't that fun? That one's like a 5-minute card. And I was thinking, I don't know, that might look better. It certainly changed the mood of it, that's for sure. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay, so I can put that, like, it'd be interesting to put that woman on the dock on this reflective type of, you know, scenario like that. And I have this, like a breaching whale out there, you know, I can put that out there. Or I can just leave it like that, you know, that has its own kind of, you know, quality to it. It's almost like when you put this down like this is like a, like meditation or something like that. Meditative. Type of quality, huh? It's like a Zen garden type of thing. And this is like, you know, the drama of life or something like that with the baby sea turtles like that. So, yeah. So, hopefully we guys see you guys in the next live stream, but I don't know. It's going to be like 5 minutes because That's how long. That's how long this card. That's how long this card's gonna take right here. It's gonna be like stamping out. Okay, we're stamping out the Palm Island once here. Okay, now stamping it on the other side. All right, there, everyone. Thanks for joining in. Hope to see you on the next live. All right. Good night, everyone. Hope to see you. Hope to see you on the next live. Yeah, we'll do it. Maybe we'll do a couple of those kind of like Zen photos, Zen photo stamping. Is that what we call it? Anyway. Good night.